It opens in a dark, rainy setting as the narrative jumps right into Kraven's deep hatred for his enemy. Kraven explains that this man ruined his Russian homeland, shamed his family, and drove his parents to tragic ends, specifically alcoholism for his father and suicide for his mother. To Kraven, he wasn't just a costumed hero named Spider-Man, but rather a monster. Kraven is blasting the black-suited Spider-Man at point-blank range with a rifle. Following the brutal attack, Kraven and his men stand over an open grave. Inside a wooden coffin lies the defeated hero, whom Kraven simply refers to as the Spider. Moving on, Kraven reveals that he completely stole his enemy's identity. He explains that while the original hero rotted away underground, he took on the Spider's name and suit to prove he was the superior version. We see Kraven, fully dressed in the black suit, brutally taking down some armed thugs in a warehouse. Despite his victory, Kraven admits that his long hunt left him feeling frustrated and humiliated by his constant past defeats. He then wonders what kind of madness and nightmares the buried hero is experiencing 6 feet under. We get a bleak glimpse of the man trapped in the coffin, stripped bare and curled into a terrified ball. Meanwhile, the real Spider-Man climbs out of the rain-soaked grave in his spider suit, while Kraven proudly declares that the Spider only continues to live because Kraven allows it. Kraven shares a bit of his own hidden history. He explains that he has lived decades longer than a normal person because he uses secret herbs, potions, and rituals to extend his life. These methods also gave him incredible physical strength, along with enhanced reflexes, vision, and hearing. While we see the real Spider-Man coming out of the mud and entering a library, we also see Kraven using his massive strength to effortlessly lift a full-grown tiger over his head and wrestle a massive alligator. Kraven makes it clear that he didn't get his strength from his fallen family or the decaying modern world, which he absolutely despises. Instead, Sergei Kravenov found his true power and will to hunt the Spider deep in the ancient jungles. The real Spider-Man is trapped before violently shattering a massive stained glass window as he leaps through it in the black suit. Things escalate as Kraven narrates that he commanded his buried enemy to rise from the grave. Kraven knows the man has been trapped down in the dark for 2 straight weeks and is definitely angry about it. However, Kraven is completely fearless now. He feels confident because he believes he has successfully stolen Spider-Man's name, form, and power, proving himself to be the absolute superior being. To demonstrate this dominance, he stands over the real Spider-Man. He notes that he has fully taken the power that was once stolen from him. The story takes a cosmic turn here as a giant entity known as the Watcher appears, hovering in the sky above the scene. Down below, a victorious Kraven stands tall in the pouring rain, looking down at the broken, black-suited body of his enemy lying in the mud. Kraven hopes that with this victory, he will finally find peace. The Watcher then speaks, explaining that his heavy burden is to observe the birth, death, and resurrection of entire universes. He mentions that he watches lives play out across infinite realities and specifically notes that while he has seen Sergei Kravenov's life unfold many times before, it has never happened quite like this. Kraven's entire worldview suddenly shatters. Standing in the rain with his mask off, Kraven looks absolutely horrified and realizes how naive he has been. He admits that something is terribly wrong. Looking down at the defeated Peter on the ground, Kraven realizes that he hasn't been fighting some supernatural spider demon or primeval entity at all. Instead, he sees that he was just chasing an illusion. The terrible truth hits him all at once. The great beast he dedicated his life to destroying is actually just a regular, mortal man. Dealing with the fallout of his revelation, Kraven carries the completely broken Peter back to the mansion. Kraven notes that Peter's mind is fragile and has been shattered into jagged fragments by the 2-week burial ordeal. For hours, Kraven just sits by the man's side, watching him flail, moan, and cry out for his wife in a feverish state. Seeing the sheer horror of what he has done, Kraven decides to return Peter Parker to the woman he loves. We see Mary Jane open her door to find a devastated Peter lying on her bed. She is in tears, frantically asking Peter what happened to him. A terrified Peter recognizes Mary Jane and desperately begs for her help, pleading that he doesn't want to die again, watching this heartbreaking reunion. Kraven finally understands that he is the actual monster in this story. Continuing his narration, Kraven admits that he couldn't face the terrible truth about himself. He knows now that he was the real monster, but at the time, he completely repressed and denied that fact. He explains that accepting his own monstrous nature would have unleashed deep, hidden fears that would devour his psyche. So, instead of dealing with the trauma he caused Peter Parker, Kraven decides to distract himself by hunting down what he considers a genuine monster. He focuses all his attention on a terrifying, rat-like creature known to some as the Cannibal Killer and to others simply as Vermin. Kraven successfully captures the feral beast and locks him inside an electrified cage. The violence continues as Kraven decides to brutally punish his new captive. Kraven justifies the beating by telling himself that he is doing something the spider failed to do, using it as twisted proof of his own superiority. We see Kraven relentlessly punching and slashing at the rat creature, noting that Vermin has killed and eaten dozens of innocent people. However, Kraven admits that this savage beating is really just an outlet for his own personal rage and frustration. Even while he is pummeling the abomination, Kraven is completely haunted by the memory of Peter Parker's terrified, traumatized face from that awful night. Kraven delivers a fatal blow, snapping his opponent's neck and ending the creature's miserable existence. He tries to convince himself that he is doing the world a great service by killing the beast, but he finds no satisfaction in the act. To Kraven's absolute horror, the dead creature's rat-like features begin to fade away, revealing a normal human face underneath. Kraven later learns that Vermin wasn't a monster at all, but rather an innocent victim who was forcibly transformed into a rat thing by a lunatic named Baron Zemo. Staring down at the human corpse he casually murdered, Kraven is overwhelmed with a deep, burning sense of shame. He realizes that twice in one night he has mistaken mortal men for monsters. The story shifts focus to a psychiatric office called the Kafka Center for Mental Health. Mary Jane is sitting on a couch with her old friend Robbie Robertson, looking deeply worried and afraid. They are speaking with Dr. Ashley Kafka, who is described as one of the world's most respected psychotherapists. Mary Jane expresses her fear about the public finding out her husband's secret identity, but Dr. Kafka gives her word that their secrets are completely safe. Mary Jane explains that when Peter came home broken and lost, Robbie was the first person she thought to turn to. Robbie comforts her, gently revealing that a part of him has always known the truth about Peter being Spider-Man. He reassures Mary Jane that she made the right choice by bringing Peter here for professional help. The scene continues inside the mental health facility, where Dr. Kafka is observing Peter through a secure window. Peter is sitting silently on a small bed in a checkered floor room, looking incredibly isolated and traumatized. Dr. Kafka notes to Mary Jane and Robbie that what Peter endured, being drugged and sealed not just in a physical grave but in the coffin of his own mind, is horrific. She calls it a miracle that he is even still alive. Mary Jane points out that Peter has survived worse things before, and Kafka agrees, promising that while recovery will take months or even longer, he will eventually make it through this trauma. However, Kraven's narration chimes in to warn the audience that despite Kafka's intelligence and compassion, she is completely unprepared for what is coming next. We jump back to Kraven, who reveals that several weeks have passed. He has been wandering his upstate mansion, battling dark and demented thoughts. To cope with his madness, Kraven has retreated into heavy alcohol use and carnal indulgence. He admits this destructive spiral would have continued if fate hadn't intervened in the form of Dr. Octopus. We see Doc Ock terrorizing the city streets with his mechanical arms, furiously demanding that the imposter show himself or he will reduce the city to rubble. Kraven swings into action, wearing the black suit, deciding to take up Spider-Man's heroic mantle. He strikes Otto with a massive kick. However, as they clash, Dr. Octopus immediately realizes that this aggressive fighter is definitely not the Spider-Man he has grappled with for years. Otto angrily questions why this imposter even cares whether he is the real Spider-Man or not. Dr. Octopus responds by disrespecting him, declaring that the real Spider-Man is actually a foe worthy of his attention. After that, Kraven unleashes a series of brutal punches into Otto's face. Kraven's narration explains that this violent clash gives him a much-needed sense of purpose. He violently tears at Otto's mechanical arms, wondering if becoming this new hero is a genuine new path in life, or just another violent distraction to drown out the incessant warring voices in his own head. Ultimately, Kraven decides it is a little bit of both. Back at the center, Peter is sitting in a therapy session with Dr. Kafka. She asks if he is still having nightmares, and an exhausted Peter admits that he has them every single night. He describes the recurring terror of being trapped down in the grave, screaming and begging to be let out. However, he shares a glimmer of hope, telling Kafka that lately the dream shifts, and Mary Jane appears to reach her hand down and set him free. Kafka is pleased, telling Peter he is making progress, but the narrative immediately undercuts this hope. Later that night, as Peter tries to sleep, a sinister voice echoes in his mind, mocking the idea that he is getting better or breaking free from his trauma. The voice calls him an idiot and declares that he will never truly be free without the entity's help, as Peter's eye begins glowing into a monstrous red eye. Kraven fully embraces his new stolen identity. He decides that since he has lived so many lifetimes, he might as well live one more as a hero. We see a montage of Kraven in the black suit, utilizing his hunter skills to ruthlessly stalk and take down Spider-Man's classic rogues gallery. He is shown delivering brutal beatings to the Scorpion, the Vulture, and the Lizard. Kraven notes that his incredibly violent methods have divided public opinion. Some people decry his brutality, while others praise this new aggressive Spider-Man as the exact cure the crime-filled city needs. Deep down in his heart, Kraven knows this heroic stint is entirely self-deception and that the demons are still clawing at his soul, but he admits he finds some fleeting comfort in simply pretending to be the hero. Kraven is shown sleeping peacefully in his dark, lavish bedroom. Slowly, a massive, shadowy black mass begins to slither into the room, creeping right beside his bed. The dark symbiote rears up and looms directly over the sleeping hunter. Suddenly, Kraven snaps awake, screaming in absolute terror as he realizes he is no longer alone. His narration dryly notes that his newfound comfort is incredibly short-lived. Kraven narrates that he wakes up drenched in sweat with his heart hammering, instantly recognizing the thick scent of his attacker. He realizes that he is being hunted by the ultimate monster, the alien symbiote that once bonded with Peter Parker. Kraven senses that the alien wants to find its way back to its original host to feed on Parker's boiling rage and fear. Knowing he owes a massive debt to Parker, Kraven decides he has no choice but to stop the creature. We see Kraven submerging himself in a special bath, ingesting rare herbs and dangerous potions to prepare for a dark ritual. Meanwhile, back at the clinic, Dr. Kafka is telling Mary Jane that Peter is doing much better than expected. Mary Jane asks if Peter can finally come home, explaining she has been lying to his aunt about him being in Europe on assignment. Before Kafka can answer, they are interrupted by shocking news at the door about Peter. Peter has run away from his room. The story takes a terrifying turn as we see the massive, terrifying form of Venom swinging through the rainy city streets. The narration explains that the alien symbiote took full advantage of Peter Parker's deeply fragile mental state. The creature slipped completely into the folds of Peter's mind and the cells of his body in a way it never had before. The alien believes that this broken version of Parker is the absolute perfect vessel for its dark desires. The creature can sense Kraven's spite and loathing drawing it closer. We see Venom creeping up to a window, fully expecting to ambush its prey, but Kraven's narration reveals that the beast is about to be surprised. Kraven doesn't wait to be attacked. He immediately launches a massive assault, blasting Venom backward with explosive force. Kraven confesses to the audience that, despite his brave front, he is genuinely frightened by this creature. He notes that this alien is unlike any prey he has ever hunted, or any opponent he has ever faced. The massive, drooling monster quickly recovers and lunges violently at Kraven, striking him hard. As they physically clash, Kraven experiences a moment of internal panic. A terrified, childlike voice deep within his own mind begs him to run away. The cowardly voice tries to convince Kraven to just let the symbiote inject its venom into Parker and consume his soul, hoping the alien will eventually forget about Kraven. Kraven admits that a part of him will always remember that terrible urge to flee. Despite his fear, Kraven stands his ground because he understands a fundamental truth that the alien is entirely blind to. Even broken, Peter Parker is a fighter who will never surrender to the darkness. Suddenly, Peter's human face violently pushes its way out of the monstrous symbiote exterior, screaming in defiance. Peter yells that whatever Kraven has done to him, he will not let the symbiote kill him, and he furiously tells the symbiote that he will not let it steal his life. Watching Parker fight back from within the monster, Kraven begins to laugh maniacally in the face of the beast. Confused by the laughter, the Venom creature demands to know why Kraven finds this funny. Kraven confidently tells the beast that it is wasting its time and energy trying to corrupt a decent and compassionate man like Parker. Instead, Kraven spreads his arms and boldly offers himself as the perfect host, inviting the symbiote to take him. Intrigued by the offer, the alien slithers into Kraven's psyche to investigate. The page shows a horrifying montage of Kraven's mind as the symbiote swims through his memories. The alien drinks in all of Kraven's hidden brutality, debauchery, suffering, and lunacy. Seeing a wretched man completely destined for the cosmic void, the alien entity realizes it has found its true match. The symbiote makes its final decision, eagerly detaching itself from Peter Parker the moment he takes a breath. The massive alien wraps itself around Kraven, transforming him into a terrifying new version of Venom, featuring a giant red spider emblem on his chest. The creature proudly declares that it is discarding the weakling Parker to fully embrace Kravinoff. A confused and newly freed Peter stumbles back, asking Kraven what he has done. The dark symbiote immediately realizes something is terribly wrong, screaming in shock. Kraven's narration reveals his master plan. Those dangerous forbidden potions and rare rituals he partook in earlier were specifically designed to give him the power to trap the beast, even if only for a brief moment. With the alien fully bonded to his body, Kraven executes his final move to take control of the beast. He uses the toxic herbs and dark enchantments currently running through his own bloodstream to poison the symbiote from the inside out. We see the massive creature violently choking and screaming as the unholy incantations magnify the toxins. The alien fights to survive, but it is completely in vain. The poison successfully kills the symbiote, ensuring it will never endanger another soul. However, the lethal process also claims Kraven's life. The page ends with a somber image of Peter Parker holding Kraven's lifeless, slime-covered body on the floor. Peter Parker and Mary Jane are standing together in front of a new tombstone, which marks the final resting place of Sergei Kravinoff. Peter tells Mary Jane that despite all the torment and conflict Kraven put them through, he ultimately gave up his own life to save Peter's. He adds that he believes Kraven also died to spare anyone else from the sheer agony of being bonded to that alien thing. MJ tells him that they can never truly know what was in the man's heart, but Peter chooses to believe Kraven acted out of sacrifice, and he is forever grateful. Peter expresses his hope that after all these years, the hunter can finally know peace and rest. However, the very last moment leaves us with a lingering question. We see a shovel digging into the fresh dirt of Kraven's grave, while the final narration suggests that perhaps he won't find peace after all.